Hello, welcome back to Learn Oikonomia. In this video, we are going to discuss the concept of exchange rate. So, we will be discussing the concept of exchange rate, the determination of exchange rate, and various types of exchange rate. Moving on to the types, we will be discussing fixed exchange rate, flexible exchange rate, managed floating kind of exchange rate, nominal exchange rate, real exchange rate, and finally, effective exchange rate. So, let's get started. As we all know, exchange rate involves the value of a particular nation's currency in terms of some other nation's currency. So every nation has got a distinct methodology to decide its exchange rate, and this is decided especially via three different methods. These three methods are fixed exchange rate, managed floating exchange rate or pegged exchange rate, and also there is flexible exchange rate. It depends upon the economic scenario of the nation to restore to which kind of exchange rate. Fixed exchange rate or pegged exchange rate system, and that is what we are going to discuss here. This kind of exchange rate is something which is referred to as system where weaker currency of two countries, weaker currency of the two currencies in question is pegged or tied to a stronger currency. Here, fixed exchange rate is actually determined by the government of a country, or this can be determined by the central bank of a country, and this is not dependent on market forces. Okay, demand and supply do not have any role here. It is the authority of the central government or the central bank to determine this kind of exchange rate. To maintain stability of currency, and there is purchasing of foreign exchange by the central bank, and also the interference by the government would also be there, and this is when the rate of foreign currency increases and selling foreign currency when the rates are falling. This is known as pegging, and that is why fixed exchange rate is also known as pegged exchange rate system. Having discussed fixed exchange rate, let's come to what is known as a flexible exchange rate. Here comes the role of market forces of demand and supply, and this is also known as floating exchange rate because it is dependent on what is known as market forces of demand and supply, and here there is no role for the government or there is no role for the central bank. Having discussed that, let's come to the managed floating kind of exchange rate. Here we can see that it is a combination of both fixed as well as floating exchange rate. Under this fixed as well as floating and flexible exchange rate, okay. So under this regime, what happens is that the central bank would intervene. The central bank would intervene, or the central bank would participate in the purchase and selling of foreign currency. So we will be discussing all about foreign exchange rate, which plays a very important role in business studies, commerce, economics, etc. So for those students who are dealing with commerce, economics, business, etc., these kinds of these topics play a very important role, and that is what we are discussing here. Now, having discussed managed floating, fixed exchange rate and flexible exchange rate, let's see what is effective exchange rate. The effective exchange rate involves a monetary zone, and here what I mean the here in a monetary zone, the exchange rate is measured as a weighted sum of exchange rates with trading partners and competitors. That is the case here. We are going for the weighted index or weighted average. Having said so, let's come to what is known as real exchange rate, which is the exchange rate between two currencies by taking into consideration the role of price indices in the two countries. Nominal exchange rate is simply exchange rate of one country in value of currency of one country in terms of value of currency of other country. But in the case of real exchange rate, you take nominal exchange rate, which is multiplied by the ratio of prices between the two countries. So you take the price ratio in order to find the real exchange rate system. I hope you got the difference between real and nominal. Now, as I have already told you, simply what exchange rate means is nominal exchange rate, which is defined as a number of units of domestic currency that can purchase a unit of given foreign currency. And if there is a reduction in this variable, that involves nominal appreciation of your currency. So that's all for today. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel for more video, and you can be a part of my Telegram channel and Telegram group to discuss your doubts. Thank you. I'll be providing the links to both my Telegram channel and Telegram group in the description box.